This may come as shocking news to you, but Vince McMahon happens to enjoy meaty boys. In this case, there's a specific one known as EC3, who for some strange reason, Vince and co just don't want to push him. Now, I'm John from the Midcard Maniacs, and today I'm going to talk about why EC3 would look good in a Burberry scarf. Yeah. If you don't know by now, EC3 has done absolutely nothing in WWE. Like, I mean absolutely nothing. There was one moment where he said nothing. He would just go on camera and not speak, not do anything. And you would think that the way that he looks, the way that he presents himself, he would be a Vince McMahon guy. Yet they just don't know how to use him or just don't want to use him. And if you go back and look at the success that EC3 had in TNA, he is someone who broke out in that company by having great feuds with Kurt Angle, Sting, and Jeff Hardy. And EC3 not only managed to hold his own, but established himself as a main eventer. His character work is fantastic, and he comes off as this pompous D-bag who you just want to punch in the face, but also has that like great comedic side to him. Now, he may not be the most skilled in the ring, but he does have great mic skills that will help further stories and build excellent feuds. And some of his best work is actually when he's partnered with someone else. In fact, when he was with Rockstar Spud, aka Drake Maverick, the two of them were a fantastic duo who just brought great chemistry to the screen, so much that I feel that EC3 needs to jump ship to AEW and he needs to form what could be the greatest tag team in that company with MJF, the Burberry Boys. Just imagine MJF going out shopping, grabbing a Burberry scarf, and as he goes to take it, someone from the other end is pulling it at the same time. Camera comes out and you just see EC3 holding on to the same scarf. The two of them just look at each other and you would think that maybe they're gonna feud, but instead they have this perfect moment where they're like, man, you got some good taste. Yeah, I like your taste too. And we've got the two most pompous people all of a sudden building this connection over a love of Burberry. And what's great about MJF and EC3, not only because they both have 3 letters as their names, but the fact that the two of them are characters that you want to hate, that they represent themselves in this higher society, that they're better than everyone else. And EC3 can pull this off just as good as MJF can. So the two of them forming a tag team could really create some interesting stories and feuds in AEW, because you need to have this like badass heel tag team that the audience is really going to go against. So if this were to happen, the whole buildup of this dynamic duo would be through a lot of hilarious video packaging. We would have all these skits of the two of them just talking about how great it is to be handsome, rich, popular, how they always get the girls, how they always have like the nice cars, that they have nothing but money and style, and everyone else on the roster just can't get to their level. And as you're seeing these video packages, it's just building them up for us to want to hate them. And then when we finally have their in-ring debut, they actually don't even have a match, because you can't forget about Wardlow, who is going to be a part of this group. When they do have their match, it should be the two of them versus a random tag team, whether it's enhancement talents or just local talents. You'd think that they're going to go in the ring and just destroy them, but in fact, Wardlow goes in there, knocks out both competitors, while MJF and EC3 are both on the mic running them down. And before the match even starts, Wardlow takes out the competition, then they get in the ring, tell the ref, ring the bell, and they pin whichever competitor's in the ring, showing their dominance and not even having to wrestle, because they have a beefy bodyguard who's gonna do all the dirty work for them, and the two of them are gonna focus on how good they are on the mic and how much better they are than everyone else. And after a few weeks to a month of these style of matches, I think they finally need to have an actual competitive match. And the tag team I think the two of them should feud against right away would be Hybrid 2. Because when you look at Angelico and Evans, they have that kind of appearance where fans can get behind and actually want to see them win, but EC3 and MJF can just rip them a new one in promos by their appearance, their style, their skill, and just how much better the Burberry Boys are than Hybrid 2. But at the same time, this doesn't necessarily need to be an actual feud for them, but rather a match to show that they can hold their own against other AEW competitors. The real feud I think they should have would be the Burberry Boys versus the Best Friends, because there you would have a potential of 3 wrestlers versus 3 wrestlers. Just imagine how MJF and EC3 could run down Orange Cassidy and how he looks and how he acts. It would just lead to some really great backstage segments and hilarious promos. When you look at the Burberry Boys, they're not the ones who you want to see wrestle all the time. You're more interested in their characters themselves outside of the ring and how they're going to interact with other people. Because MJF does a great job being that D-bag by himself right now, and EC3, who's a little more experienced than him, can only elevate his character to the next level. And the two of them can play off of each other and establish themselves as a great threat to the tag division. And with them being a tag team, of course you're going to want to think, when will EC3 or MJF turn on each other, because their egos are just going to be too big for the room. Honestly, I would not want this to happen. And I just love the idea of both the name, the Burberry Boys, and the fact that the two of them just have this look that they get one another, they understand one another, because they're two people cut from the same cloth, or wool scarf in this case, that neither of them really need to feud with each other, that they could only grow and help each other out as a tag team. But again, I'm not saying that this is gonna happen. Really, it's just fantasy booking. This is an idea that I had that I wanted to have fun with because I love MJF and I think EC3 is being wasted in WWE, and this is a great way to have him reinvent himself and go somewhere where he's gonna do what he does best, and that's cut promos. But I wanna hear what you guys think, so let me know in the comments below. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with everything we're doing here on Midcard Maniacs.